Hello students. So I am back once again with my next video for class 8 on the topic microorganisms. In the previous video we have discussed the harmful effects of microorganisms, and if you want to go through it you can find the link in the description box. And in this video we are going to study about the beneficial effects of microorganisms, or we are going to study about the beneficial microorganisms. I have written here for you the word beneficial means useful. So here we are going to study about the useful microorganisms, and to start studying about them, the first thing we require is that we should know what is fermentation. Now, what is fermentation? Fermentation is a biological process in which certain microorganisms undergo anaerobic respiration, and in doing so, in undergoing anaerobic respiration, that is without oxygen, any chemical process, this chemical process which is taking place without oxygen is called fermentation. And in fermentation, the glucose or any type of sugar is broken down to release either alcohol or acid along with carbon dioxide gas. So what is fermentation? Fermentation is the breakdown of sugar by yeast. Yeast is a microorganism to produce acid or alcohol along with the release of carbon dioxide gas. This particular process is called fermentation, and the products formed here can be put to use in number of industries. The first use is the baking industry. How does this reaction, this process of fermentation finds use in the baking industry? In the baking industry, when we make breads, cakes, soft fluffy things, how do they become fluffy? The question is, how do they become fluffy? So that is because of the process of fermentation, and to make the breads and cakes fluffy, we use yeast. Yeast is a microorganism and it acts on any type of sugar and converts it to either acid or alcohol, and carbon dioxide gas is released. Now in the baking industry, when we are making cakes and all, when this yeast is added to the cake, the carbon dioxide gas is released as a result of this process. So the carbon dioxide gas which is released will begin to rise up in the dough. As it will rise up in the dough, it is going to carry small particles of dough with it, because the bubbles of the gas, particles of dough will be stuck to it and they will rise along with the dough. As they are rising, they are slowly being cooked also. So those particles remain where they have risen, and therefore the flat dough becomes higher with lots of pores in it. These pores are formed because of the bubbles of carbon dioxide which are escaping from the dough, making the foods soft and fluffy. The second use of this is in the preparation of wine. The main constituent of any type of wine is alcohol. So we take any type of sugar, basically sugary fruits are converted into alcohol by the process of fermentation. So if we take grapes, the sugar in the grapes can be converted by a similar reaction into alcohol, and this alcohol becomes the ingredient of the wines. So these are two applications of microorganisms by the process of fermentation. Then the third application is food. Some type of microorganisms are used directly as food. Example, mushrooms. We all love to have mushrooms. Mushroom is a type of fungus. It is a fungi and is used as a food. So this is one more use of microorganisms, a useful microorganism. The next use in making curd. Curd, you must have seen your mother setting curd. So what is the basic principle behind this curd formation? Your mother warms the milk. She takes a spoonful of curd, mixes in that milk and gives it an upside down turn through the glasses because a thorough mixing is better. After that, we leave it aside to set. What happens when we add that small amount of curd? That 1 spoon of curd contains the bacteria named Lactobacillus. Lactobacillus. And this bacteria, Lactobacillus, is the reason for converting milk into curd. When we warm it, we give the required temperature for the bacteria to multiply, and by adding a spoon of curd, we are actually adding those bacteria, and then that bacteria can multiply to convert the entire milk into curd. This is how we make curd. So here bacteria is a useful microorganism for the formation of curd. Similarly, for the formation of paneer and cheese, also we use the same bacteria, Lactobacillus, for paneer. You must have seen that from milk we can make paneer by adding curd to it also. And for cheese, the bacteria is Streptococcus. Streptococcus. This bacteria helps in the formation of cheese. Therefore, we see microorganisms like bacteria. These are the names of the bacteria. They find a lot of use in the dairy industry, bringing up nice tasty things. All these things are curd, paneer, cheese are loved by everybody. The next important use of microorganisms, another tasty thing, is in making ice cream. It finds use in ice cream making. These are the names of the microorganism Fucus and Kelp, which are used in the ice cream industry to make good yummy ice creams. Okay, then next use is the microorganisms find use in dietary supplements. First of all, you should know what are dietary supplements. When I say this word, it means that extra diet. Supplement is something which is providing you something extra, and dietary means extra type of diet required by bodybuilders, people who do gymming and want to develop muscles, six packs and all. They require high protein diet. So the protein in the normal diet may not be enough for them, and hence they require dietary supplements. This is one requirement. And sometimes people who are sick, their body is not making proteins, or somebody whose body is very weak, the doctor advises to take extra protein in the form of dietary supplements. And these proteins are provided by the microorganisms algae. They are called SCPs, which means single celled proteins, SPCs. And the algae which provide these dietary supplements, help in making the dietary supplements are, one is spirulina, another is chlorella. These are algae which help to make these protein rich supplements. Then coming to the next use is bioleaching. A new term for you which may not be, you are not familiar with that term. The word is bioleaching. To understand bioleaching, first we should know what is extraction. Lots of metals are extracted from the earth's surface, from the mountains, from the rocks, and bringing out useful metals, useful components from the rocks is known as extraction. And the process of extraction of these metals using microorganisms is called bioleaching. Leaching means to pull out something and bio means living. So when the living organisms help in the pulling out of metals, that process is known as bioleaching. So we will quickly write the definition of bioleaching here. The extraction of valuable, means which are of use to us, metals using bacteria, and in bracket we can write microorganisms is called bioleaching. Now the name of the bacteria which will bring about bioleaching. So I will let this go. We have discussed this and everything on the top here can be removed. So we are discussing bioleaching over here, and now I am going to name the bacteria which helps in this bioleaching. The name is a big name, please see. Acidothiobacillus. This is the first name of the bacteria. The second name is Pheroxidans. This is the name of the bacteria, Acidothiobacillus pheroxidans. So microorganisms find use in bioleaching also. One more very important unavoidable use of microorganisms is in medicine industry. So the last use is the medicinal use, which we are going to discuss now, the use in the medicine industry. So I will write here the name of two bacteria. One is Penicillium and one is Streptomyces. Okay. So these two bacteria find a great amount of use in the medicine industry. They are used to make antibiotics. Antibiotics are very important category of drugs which are used in a treatment of number of problems. The Penicillium bacteria gives the medicine by the name of penicillin. You must have heard of penicillin ka injection. These are antibiotics. And Streptomyces, there are different types of bacteria which fall under Streptomyces. They give us medicines like tetracycline and streptomycin. These are also types of antibiotics which are used as medicines in treatment by the doctors. And one more use of microorganisms, the last one which we will take up, is vaccines. This word is becoming common very much nowadays because we are hearing about the vaccine of coronavirus. Now, what is a vaccine? So we will discuss here what is a vaccine. Okay, let's start. A vaccine is a type of preparation, means a type of medicine you can say, which provides immunity against any disease. You must have heard of small children being given vaccines for polio, chickenpox, tetanus and all. When the children are small, there is a course of vaccines which a child has to undergo. Now, what is the reason behind that course of vaccine? The thing is that whenever any vaccine is given to a person, that vaccine goes and produces antibodies for that particular disease in the body of the person. these antibodies are ready to fight with that particular disease. And therefore, when the vaccine is injected into the person's body, the antibodies prepared once remain in the body throughout, and whenever any type of that organism is trying to attack the body, it fights with that and prevents the disease. Therefore, the vaccines are given. The vaccines are of two types. Either these are given in the form of dead or weakened microbes. Like if it is a bacterial disease, then okay, I'll explain you one more thing. What happens when immunity word, very common these days. What is immunity? You know, at a particular time, number of microorganisms are attacking the body of a person and are wanting to cause disease in the body. But is it so that we get disease every time? No. This is because microorganisms enter into our body, but the immune system of our body fights with those microorganisms and do not let the disease occur. And hence, most of the times when we do not get the disease, we do not even feel that any type of infection, any type of microorganism has entered our body. How does this mechanism work? Suppose example bacteria. Any type of bacteria, harmful bacteria gain entry into our body. Then our body, on seeing those bacteria, quickly produce antibodies in the body to fight with that bacteria. So how are the antibodies produced? As a result of the entry of the bacteria. To give vaccines to a healthy person, we cannot introduce healthy bacteria into the body. So those bacteria are killed or they are weakened. Then they are introduced into the body so that they produce the antibodies but do not cause the disease. And once the antibodies are produced, they remain there for a lifetime and protect against the disease always. Another type of vaccine which will not have these weakened microbes, weakened bacteria, is a vaccine which contains directly antibodies. Such type of a vaccine has its effect for a shorter period of time, and the vaccines which go and produce antibodies in the body have an effect for a longer period of time. Hope you found everything very interesting. Everything is very knowledgeable. So try to retain all this. This knowledge is very important for every one of us. Stay tuned. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share my channel with your friends and relatives. Thank you.